My name is Graham Abbey. I am an actor for the most part, mostly Shakespeare, sometimes sing and dance with forest animals. I moved to Stratford with my mom and my sister, and when I was 10 years old, I was listed in the program as a fairy, which was very hard when you're 10. So I made up this name that I was a forest gnome. And then when I was 11, I was a page in As You Like It, directed by the great late John Hirsch. So that was my beginning in theater. I wanted to be a politician, actually, and I spent a year at the legislature as an intern, and that scared the heck out of me. It scared the politics out of me. I did an election campaign. It was the beginning of the first election of Mike Harris, and I just was out there at doors and thought, it's a tough life being a politician. So I thought I'd be an actor instead. I try and be fearless constantly. I think in your career you have to challenge yourself and always do stuff that scares you, because most of it does, and get through those phases of doubt and insecurity. But so we sort of live in permanent fearless state, I guess, as actors. I get nervous all the time. I mean, theater's a bit different for me. I have my moments for sure. I get more nervous in front of the camera, I think, or I used to, because there's a strange silence that descends around a set, you know, and these cameras sort of zoom in on you, and you only have like a minute to get the shot because you're losing the light, and so that used to sort of make me more nervous than stage, I think, because you can sort of make mistakes on the stage and maybe people don't notice. The best piece of advice I've ever been given is from my dad. He used to have a line saying, there's a fine line between being a nice guy and a wet fish, which I love. I don't know where he got that from, but I always know when I've slipped into wet fish land, because sometimes I tend to be too nice, I suppose, but it's a good piece of advice for life. Yeah. When I was doing the Henrys at Stratford, we were down in the States on September 11th. Sure enough, as we're driving, the other plane went down on the highway we're on. It was an extraordinary day for everybody, but we were racing towards the border because we had a matinee and then I had an evening show. And we had most of the cast in our car. Both those plays are very much about war and brutality and forgiveness and all those things we were floating with that day. I decided to speak at the end of the show. We had a lot of Americans who were in the audience. So we took the bows and I had everybody take the hand of the person next to them. We did a moment of silence, which was very powerful. I got back to my dressing room and there was a knock at the door, and I opened it up and there's a man standing in front of me, middle-aged man, completely in tears. And he said something to me I've never forgotten about the power of Shakespeare in theater. And he said, the only thing I could think to do tonight was to turn off CNN and come and listen to Shakespeare. And I think about that so much in this day and age when theater's sort of dying back and people aren't coming out to see it, you know. It still is a vital sort of part of what we do. So each time I go and do a show at Stratford and think, oh, well, why am I doing what I'm doing, I think of that moment.